boy was I wrong. Why are you running into danger? It's my baby now. Love a good time book over here, so I know you guys do too. Who Has Dimples, if you're into that. Welcome back, my beautiful besties. This will be our very first reading wrap up of 2026 already. I know this month was actually a really fun and great reading month, and I read so many good books to start off the new year. In this video, we're going to go through every single book that I read, which I'll get back to you on that number here in a second, how I read them, what I rated them, if I recommend them. But a quick little spoiler is they were all very good. So there's that. So grab yourself a little drink and let's hop through these books quickly. And I think I read, let me pull out my little notepad here, and I have managed to read 10 books. The only way I can seriously keep track of anything. Let's see, 10 books in total. 6 of them were ebooks and 5 of them were audiobooks, but most of the audiobooks except one I did immersive read. 2 I did immersive read. And in this video, we'll also pick my top book of the month. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. I'm going to go through these books in no particular order, just literally how I have them here stacked. And most of them are like really underrated. The first book I have here is Half City by Kate Golden. This book actually is not released yet. It doesn't come out until I think the middle of February sometime, but I was obsessed with this book. I was lucky enough to read it early. This is the beautiful copy from Allurial, which is just like, honestly, their books are so beautiful. In this book, we follow our main character, Viv, and she is a special kind of demon hunter. Her dad was a demon hunter. She ends up going through life by herself, a little bit on her own island, and then she ends up getting recruited to Harker Academy, which is a very mysterious, private, she never knew about it, demon hunter academy. So you can see where this is going. And she gets recruited by this handsome professor who actually is a demon. So it's a fun, good time, as you can tell. If you like books with dark academia, I think this is definitely a book you will enjoy. I did rate it 4.5 stars. The only thing that kind of hit for me is Viv is one of those characters that I feel like sometimes makes stupid decisions, but all of her decisions are justified with what she's doing. But you're kind of like, stop doing that. Like, why are you running into danger? Why? But very fast paced. I'm in my dark academia era right now, and I love fast-paced, high vibes books. And this one just kind of hit anything. And anything with a professor-student situation, I don't know why I like it, but I do. The found family in this series, though, is honestly one of my favorite. The side characters are so well done, and they are so good. So yes, basically, I do recommend this book. The next book I have here is Poison Daughter by Sheila Masterson. And when I tell you I loved this book, it was actually the first one I finished in 26. And she's a thick one, but she is a standalone, which we love a good standalone, especially a well-rounded standalone. If you love books that are twisty and turny, you will definitely eat this book up. This book follows Harlow, and she is giving vigilante because her whole family has these secret powers, and hers is that she can basically kill with her kiss, because she has poison that she can leak from her lips, and her kiss is death. So anyways, there's an arranged marriage type situation. There's some vampire creatures going on. One of the scenes in here will literally blow your mind. And I feel like I'm pretty good at picking out twists because I've read so many thriller books that I'm like, come on. Like, that was kind of easy to find. I did not pick up one of the twists. I did guess the other one, but I did not pick up one of these twists. So I feel like that says something. I could not put this book down once I started it. I was instantly hooked. I loved the dialogue, I loved the plot, I love the twist, I love the pacing. I basically loved everything. It is definitely a 5-star read, and I've been recommending this book so much this month because I'm absolutely obsessed with it, because when a standalone does it right, it does it right. Psychotic Obsession by Lee Rivers. So this is the prequel to the Edge of Darkness series by Lee Rivers. If you haven't read that one, it is one of my god tiers. You need to go read it, but please check your trigger warnings. This is a dark romance series, and Edge of Darkness is a dark romance series, and we are talking dark, very dark, uncomfy moments, things people don't like to read about. But this one follows, so the Edge of Darkness series follows the children, and then this one follows the parents at 20 years in the past. I loved this book. I thought it was such a fun read to go back in the past and see how the parents met, their love story, how everything connected, because in the Edge of Darkness trilogy, you see glimpses of what's happened in the future. So it was really fun to go back. I did listen to this on audio and I loved the audio for this, so I do recommend the audio. Missing for me is I still rated it 4 stars. The only thing that was missing for me is I wish that I got a little bit more in depth in the romance, only because I feel like, yes, I already knew what happened because I've read the other books, but I wanted just a little bit more of their story. So if you like toxic relationships, if you like dark books, this is definitely one you need to read. Also, I love the Edges of Darkness trilogy, but yes, they go hand in hand. Blue Arrow Island by Brenda Rothert. Now, this book took me completely by surprise, and I hadn't seen anybody ever really talk about it. The author actually sent me an e-copy of this book, and I started reading on e-copy, and I immediately wanted to buy a physical book because I love this book so much. It's a dark dystopian romance, heavy on the dark, and I just think the premise is kind of interesting. It's something that our world can relate to with a dystopian vibe. So there was a virus that broke out. Within this virus, it basically half the population died. It's very much giving Handmaid's Tales. But anyways, our main character takes birth control so she doesn't get pregnant, which is actually against the law in this world. And she gets shipped to Blue Arrow Island. And this book starts off with the bag. They're literally on a ship and they're kind of like prisoners and they can just get dumped in the water. And then there's people at the island that collect them. And so they're living on this island. This also has a very interesting sci-fi element. But this book starts off with a bang and did not let up the entire way through. I thought it was so much fun, such an interesting premise, and it's kind of like one of those books like, what would I do if I was in this situation? This series is not completed. The second book does come out later this year, and I will definitely be finishing this series because this book instantly gripped me, and I just loved it. Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. Now, this book has been on my TBR for a really long time, and I feel like it's my baby now. I just love it. It took me literally all month to read it because I did immersive read it, so I listened to the audio, which is fantastic. The narration is just such a soothing way to listen to this book. I read the physical as well as listened to it at the same time. It took me a long time because I really wanted to savor this. I love Rebecca Ross's writing, and I think this story was just so beautiful, poetic, thoughtful, clever, literally all the things. It's one of those books that when you finish it, you just know it's going to stick with you for a long time. It is a love story set in a fantasy world. If you've read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, it's set in the same world, but it follows the gods. And so there is a lot of world building. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was very much confused with what's going on with the gods and the world in the first couple chapters, but like once it clicks, you just understand and you appreciate it so much. If you like books with yearning, with a beautiful love story, but still have war and fast-paced elements, this book is just, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I mean, the copy is beautiful, but the book itself is beautiful. This will be a book that I will be thinking about for a very, very long time. King of Ravens by Claire Sager. Now, this is a book that I also had a chance to read before it was released. And, you know, if you're just looking for a good time book, this is definitely it. We love a good time book over here, so I know you guys do too. But this book follows Rhiannon, who is in her 30s, 30-year-old FMC, hold up. Also, the Poison Daughter is in her 30s. Sorry, I forgot to mention that too. So 2 books within their 30s, which I feel like is, for us girls, it's nice to read about that sometimes. But she has a disability. Basically, she's living in this cottage with her family. She's sick all the time. And then the King of the Dead shows up at her cottage and basically takes her away because her dad made a deal with his mom that there was going to be some type of an arranged marriage. That's all I'm really going to say about it. So she ends up going with the King of the Dead, who has dimples, if you're into that. But there's a labyrinth situation with these really unique trials. And as I was reading this book, I kind of thought I had it all figured out. And I was kind of going to be like disappointed. Like I couldn't see how this book was going to continue because it is an incomplete series. And in my mind, I was like, this book seems like it's done. It's totally done. Boy, was I wrong. Oh, I was 100% wrong. The last couple pages, the last couple chapters, holy cow, I was wrong. There's also a really great side character in here. Oh God, I can't think of his name, but he reminds me of the Surreal from ACOTAR in a really good way, but he's also like not similar to the Surreal, but I don't know why, he just gives me Surreal vibes. I loved it. I do honestly recommend this book. I did rate it 5 stars because I loved it. Makes me want to go back and read more of this author's work because it was a fun, good time. Good Old Dear Debbie by Freida McFadden. If you're new here, I have read almost all of Freida McFadden books, and I know people love to hate on her for some reason. I don't know why. I think her books are such great palette cleansers. They're fun to read. They're entertaining. I love to throw in one of these little thrillers in between some of these some of these other fantasy books that I'm reading, just for a nice little switch up. I actually ended up reading this after I read Wild Reverence, and I think it was just such a nice time to turn off the brain and start something that was completely different. And I always go into Freida McFadden books with no expectations because I never know what I'm going to get. This one was so fun. Debbie, our main character, is completely unhinged, and I'm talking completely unhinged. And this is a typical Freida McFadden book with lots of twists, turns, the whole shebang, but I love this one, and it's more on the darker side for Freida. Definitely some darker elements in here, but I do 100% recommend this. The audio is also good. I was reading it because I sent them this book before it came out, the night before it came out, so I just the first 50 pages, and then I ended up buying the audio because Julia, oh my god, what's her name? Julia Whalen is one of the narrators. I'm obsessed with Julia Whalen, so anything she narrates, I usually will buy if I'm reading that book. I love the narration. It was honestly so good. And I did not guess any of the twists in here, so I think that says something. Go Freida. Now for the books that I don't have physical copies of. I did read Smoke and Scarf by Gretchen Powell, and I really did like this book. I rated it 4 stars. I listened to the audio, which I wasn't a huge fan of, and read a little bit on my Kindle. So I went back and forth, but the audio for some reason just kind of, I don't know what it was. It didn't really hit for me. And I usually love audiobooks, so that was strange. C is 281 years old. So hello, mommy, grandma, I guess. And then our FMC is in his late 20s, 30s. So we have a huge age gap there, which is funny, a nice twitch, because I usually feel like it's the other way around. And she's also a shadow mommy, which is something I don't ever really see. But this book has trials, competitions. I love that reading the disparate aspect of an older female, younger, and she saves him all the time. She is the powerful Fae warrior, and she is saving him. So I thought the book was really fun. Very cool aspects to it. However, something was missing it from me. I didn't rate it 5 stars. I still enjoyed it, but I am not sure if I'm going to continue the series yet. People say that the next book is better than the first, so maybe I'll give it a shot. If you've read the series, let me know your thoughts if I should continue or not. And it wasn't that it was bad. I do 100% recommend it because I think this is a book a lot of people will love. And I did like it. I don't know if I want to continue the series yet, so I don't know. The next book that I read was The Wings of Ash and Flame by Jocelyn Blue. And I put this book up completely on a whim. It is a dark fantasy romance with a dark academia vibe, but the dark academia is a Gothic university, and I thought it was really cool because there's secret doors that appears. It kind of like reminded me of reading about Harry Potter with their, moving staircases in the castle and stuff, so it was giving that vibe. It starts off very dark. So she was an orphan and ends up going to prison by saving this kid that's getting beaten in the street, and things happen in the jail, and she ends up getting taken out of the jail, and she doesn't know why, and she is a human, and is sent to this academy with people that have magic, and she doesn't know why, and she's the only non-magical human there. And that's where the story happens. Lots of twists and turns, very fast-paced. If you watch me on my stories on Instagram, I was talking about this book nonstop when I was reading it because I was invested. Definitely invested. Do recommend. I should probably buy the physical copy actually because I'll want to reread it before the next book comes out since it is an incomplete series. But I love so many aspects of this book. It was really well done. The last and final book that I read this month was Rook and Revel by Kate Crew. And I listened to this book on audio, and I thought it was fun. It's not a masterpiece. It's not even, I don't know. It's giving Sons of Anarchy, dark romance vibes. So if you're into that kind of thing, you'll definitely like this book. Our MMC, he's a badass that runs a motorcycle club. And the main character is actually me because he's robbing her boyfriend, and then her boyfriend takes off. So, I mean, it was definitely like a fun, good book. I was actually kind of bored with it a little bit in the middle, and I kept listening, and the ending really did pick back up. And I do recommend it. It was 3.75 stars. There was nothing wrong with it. It didn't grab me as much as some of the other books, but I still do recommend it if these books are your vibe. There is some funny things that happen. Like he does break into her house and leave cookies on her pillow. Things like that. So, I mean, it was definitely a good time. It was a perfect book that I listened to while I was at the gym or out on a walk because it didn't require too much brain power to focus on. I could do my sets or whatever and still listen and have a good time. And I did really enjoy the book. I think there's another book that just came out by the author, and I think it's an interconnected standalone where it follows a different couple, but I'm honestly not sure on that. So I don't know. I have to go get back to you on that. I don't know if I'm going to read the next book. Possibly. We'll see. but also in no hurry to. And I probably won't be buying the audio, but if it comes available on Libby or something, sure, I'll probably listen to it because I like books like that when I'm working out. So those are the 10 books that I have read this month. Out of all of those books, I think the one that was my favorite, and I'm sure you can probably already guess, is, oh my God, I read so many good books, so it's hard to pick, but Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. This would be my book of the month for January. Like I said, I thought it was just so clever, beautiful, heartbreaking, yearning. I mean, just thoughtful. One of those books that I said, it's gonna stick with you. It's gonna end and you're just gonna be like, let's go read it again, because that's how beautiful this book is. So I feel like this is my top book of the month. I don't know. Yeah, but yes. Let me know if you've read any of these books or any of them sparked your interest. Drop a comment below. And as always, thank you for being here. And please make sure you like and follow this video. It truly means the world to me. And let me know if you have any questions on any of these books that I recommended.